I warned you guys a few days ago that I was worried that Bitcoin would break down below this bear flag, and here we are today. You can kind of see that we drew this yellow line over here, and now Bitcoin's tracking exactly on that yellow line. This structure worries me. This bear flag structure worries me because these bear flag structures have about an 80% chance of actually breaking down. So you can see there was a study done in Q4 of 2004 which shows that when we have a bear flag formation, there's an 82% success rate of this actually breaking down then actually going up. And that is more or less what was worrying me back at the time. What's also worrying me is that if we do break down, we could repeat the same pattern that we had in the 2022 bear market, which actually took us to the real lows of the bear market. What's causing this breakout? What could save us from this breakout? What happens if we do break down? That's what we're going to be discussing in today's show. It's got to do with Iran and Trump, or Trump attacking Iran and Iran retaliating. We had some PCE inflation data which has come out, which we're going to talk about today. We're also going to talk about who could save us? And there are two people that could actually save us, or three things that could actually save us. So let's talk about all of that before we get the breakdown in the bear flag. Hopefully we don't get the breakdown in the bear flag soon. Yeah, let's talk about that. Big show today. Let's go, guys. You know, it's kind of weird when you predict the market going down and then the market actually does go down. Exactly like we predicted. I drew this on the chart a few days ago. You actually feel kind of guilty because you predicted a bad event, and then the bad event seems to be playing out. Why is this bad event playing out, or why did we get the markets actually going down last night? Well, it started last night when the US, in fact, listen to this from Fox News. They break it down pretty well.
A significant development overnight after Iran launched drones toward a commercial vessel attempting to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. A U.S. official tells Fox News that 4 one-way attack drones posed a threat and were shot down. Then a strike was also conducted against a control station near the city of Bandar Abbas that was about to launch a 5th drone. In response, the Iranians launched a drone and missile attack against Kuwait, targeting a U.S. base there, according to Iran's IRGC. Now, the Kuwaitis confirmed an attack on their territory that did trigger sirens. The exchange of fire comes amid efforts to reach a deal between the United States and Iran.
So the US version of what happened yesterday was that the Iranians shot drones at a commercial vessel in the Strait. The US then attacked the launch site where there was a 5th drone actually being launched. And then what happened was Iran retaliated. And you can see that the IRGC released a statement saying that it has retaliated to the US airstrike on Iranian military position in the Strait of Hormuz by attacking a US airbase in Kuwait. And those reports are almost confirmed. Kuwait has confirmed them. The US hasn't actually confirmed them. I think that I like this post because stock markets are running, and DCF God says, attack Iran, crypto markets dump. Announce a peace deal, crypto markets dump. Cancel the peace deal, crypto markets dump. Crypto markets dump. Attack Iran, crypto markets dump. Announce peace deal, crypto markets dump. It just feels like we actually can't catch a bid while stocks are at all-time highs. So what happened when we got that breakdown? Well, the first thing is we got $1 billion worth of liquidations. We got $904 million in the last 24 hours of mainly longs liquidated. 846 million of those were actually long. A couple of shorts liquidated, probably in the spikes. Those must have been the really leveraged degen apes who went short on high leverage. But we also dropped below the bear market resistance band, right? So the bull market support band, bear market resistance band, we actually dropped below it. And as Ben Khan says, he says, this could be a sign that the bear market is likely to continue, just like it has in most midterm years. This worries me. Why does it worry me? Pretty simply because it's, you can call it PTSD, you can call it whatever you want, but I was here in 2022 and I remember how scary it was when we tested the 200-day moving average on here. So if you look at the 200-day moving average, we tested, you have to go to the daily for that. So we tested the 200-day moving average. And only after we tested the 200-day moving average, then we actually got a massive move down in Bitcoin. So maybe it's PTSD, maybe it's just being overcautious, but that's when we got a 63% move down in the price of Bitcoin. So hopefully we don't land up there again, but you have to be ready for anything because the charts usually tell the story here. The charts usually tell the story. And right now we're at the bear market. We're at the bear flag. We're almost at the final resistance point. Or so like that would be the final point. If we don't bounce at 71,340 and we close under 71,340, I mean, that could signal the beginning of the breakdown. One thing that is slightly different from 2022 is that when we broke down here, we broke down pretty violently. Like we broke down, we retested, but then we broke down pretty violently. So let's see what happens there. At the same time, what I'm seeing is that in the ETFs have had probably their worst 3 weeks in a long time. So in the last 3 weeks, we've had, in week 1, we had $1 billion net outflow. In week 2, we had 1.26 billion net outflow. And in week 3, 1.07 billion net outflow. So altogether, about 3.2 billion in net outflows from the ETFs. And I think what's going on with the ETFs is I think these investors are pretty much looking at the stock markets. They're looking at every market in the world. They're looking at the tech indices. They're looking at the NASDAQ. They're looking at the S&P. They're looking at the KOSPI. They're looking at the Nifty 50. And they're going, why are we holding this asset again? Why is it that we're actually holding this asset? And that's, I think, what the problem is. I'll talk to you in a second about what could save us. But before I do me a favor. I see that there are about 600 of you here. Welcome. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help. Also, switch on the notification bell, because in the bull market, in the summer, when there's alpha, you want to get it first. And if you don't hit the notification bell, you don't get that. Also, if you haven't liked the video, please like the video. I'm going to try and keep, in this market, I'm going to try and keep you guys daily updated with 15 minutes of content. So just giving you 15 minutes covering all the big stories. This is one of the big stories of the day. I think the next big question is, who is going to save crypto? Who's going to save us, right? So right now, we are at the bottom of the bear flag. We need a bounce. Who could save us? Well, let's start off with who I don't think is going to save us, or who I know isn't going to save us, right? And that's Trump. Yesterday, Trump posted this on Truth Social. He says, Gsler and the corrupt, Gsler, correct, as he said, Gsler, I said corrupt. That's just PTSD. Gsler and the anti-crypto army nearly destroyed the American crypto industry by driving Bitcoin, crypto perpetuals, and innovation offshore. But Trump saved it. Ready? America is now the crypto capital of the world, and builders and entrepreneurs are coming back to the United States, where they belong. Under my leadership, we will codify the future-proof digital asset market structure that cannot be undone by the crypto haters. The new frontier of finance is being built in America. And Trump will never, in capital letters, never let crypto down. President Donald J. Trump. This is what happened the minute that he tweeted that or posted it on Truth Social. Bitcoin started to collapse immediately. He says he's going to pass the legislation to fortify this. Let's just see what Polymarket says about that. Clarity Act. Let's go to Clarity Act. Signed in by law 2026. 57% chance that the Clarity Act actually does get signed into law. I think to make this much worse than it actually is that I think crypto holders are once again feeling neglected. Not because we missed the bull run, not because we're missing the entire bull run, but because when Trump talks about stocks, those stocks actually pump, right? How does you know that? Like when Trump talks about a stock, he literally tells you what to buy, you buy it. Like just look at this. This is when he spoke about Micron.
Made in the USA, we're bringing it back. Chobani is building a $1.2 billion dairy plant in Rome, New York, the largest investment in the history of the company, big company, and Micron. Boy, Micron's great. They're investing hundreds of millions. In fact, it'll be could be very close by the time they finish out, over $100 billion in Clay, New York. Anybody come from Clay? You will
so
be
Micron,
there.
what a great company. And as soon as he did that, that's what the Micron chart actually looks like. It's not only that, he spoke about Palantir. I don't know if you saw that, but that's when he said Palantir Technologies has proven to be one of the great war fighting capabilities of equipment. Just ask our enemies, President Donald J. Trump. That's what happened to Palantir as soon as Trump actually spoke about it. Trump speaks about crypto, crypto goes down. So I don't think Trump's going to save us. In fact, I kind of think that what happened here is I think Trump actually has a big portfolio of crypto holdings. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud here. I think that Trump has a big portfolio of crypto holdings that's being managed by am I allowed to say this? By Eric and a whole lot of others. And I think that they're watching this part of their portfolio go down and down and down, and they're like, Daddy, save us. And Daddy's trying to save us, but it's not actually, the saving is not actually saving at the moment. The math is not mathing. The saving is not actually saving. So I don't think Trump's going to save us. The other savior that we could that we could ask for in order to get us up above this bear flag is the same savior that has got us. Oh, let me just delete that. Is the same savior that got us out above the bear flag the last time, right? So if you look at who got us out the bear flag the last time, literally to the day, when you look here, I want to show you the day here. That is the 26th of Feb, right? In fact, let's just move the chart so that everyone can see it. That is the 26th of Feb. You see that? And then that should be the 26th of March. Am I right? Yes. That's when, 26th of March. And here, 26th of Feb. Do you know what happened on the 26th of Feb and on the 26th of March? Tell me in the comments. Because if you know that, you know who the other person that is not going to save us from this bear flag formation. Tell me in the comments. If you said Saylor, you're right. Because what happened last time, or what happened last month, was that Saylor, when STRC repegged, that was the 26th of Feb. It was actually 26th of Feb and the 26th of March. Let me actually show it to you on this chart over here. See? We pegged on the 25th of Feb and we pegged on the 25th of March. And if you look at when we bounced off the bear flag, that was the 26th of Feb and the 26th of March. Why? Because when STRC repegged to 100, that means Saylor can sell STRC and he can start buying Bitcoin. Problem is that right now, if you go to STRC and you look at the STRC chart, the STRC chart is nowhere near repegging. So this time when we've hit, you see, right now STRC is trading at 99. That means that Saylor isn't going to come to the party and actually start saving us, right? So the two saviors are Trump, and he can't save us. Michael Saylor's not going to save us. There is one more long shot, and that is that 𝗙𝗂𝗧𝗏 actually comes out and saves us. Now, why do I say 𝗙𝗂𝗧𝗏 could come out and save us? He's the new Fed chair, and we haven't heard anything official from the new Fed chair. Yes, we heard of him in the confirmation hearings in front of Senate. Yes, we heard a lot of stuff from him before he was actually appointed as Fed chair. But he hasn't actually come in yet and told us anything about what his policies are going to be at the Fed, right? Definitively. Today, we had some data that came out. The data is not going to save us. So if you look at the PCE, the good thing here is that PCE, this is the measure of inflation that the Fed uses to gauge whether indeed there is inflation or not. That PCE came out at 3.8% versus what they expected at 3.8%. Now, I want to show you one more chart before we talk a little bit more about PCE. That is the PCE chart. Now, what you can see about PCE is that, yes, there is PCE inflation, but it's not as hectic. So the PCE inflation has gone from 2.9% in 2025 August to 3.3%. Yes, it's a jump, but it's not a massive jump. And this is the measure that the Fed use to measure inflation. You know why? Because it excludes food and it excludes energy, right? So the reason why it excludes food and energy, I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said it excludes food and energy because those actually fluctuate quite a lot, specifically in the time of war, which we actually know that, right? So when you strip out, not completely, but when you strip out a little bit of the inflation, you strip out the food and the energy inflation, well, then you get inflation of 3.3%, and that is the inflation number that the Fed is going to use. At the same time, GDP came out, and what we can see is that the economy is actually weakening. So why do I say that? There is a case where 𝗙𝗂𝗧𝗏 comes in and actually gives us a signal that he is going to start dropping interest rates. How does he justify this? Well, the first way he justifies it is he said, hold on, I'm watching PCE inflation. I know you guys are watching CPI, I'm watching PCE, and I believe that inflation should come down. So inflation will come down, and so I'm going to start reducing interest rates. The second thing is the economy is starting to weaken. And when the economy is starting to weaken, you need to start stimulating the economy. Otherwise, you're going to get massive unemployment, specifically when it comes to AI. Now, 𝗙𝗂𝗧𝗏 has come out previously and said he believes that AI is going to power this economy, and therefore he does believe that we're going to reduce interest rates. So on the 17th of June, that's the next FOMC, we're going to hear 𝗙𝗂𝗧𝗏 speak for the same time. Right now, probabilities are that the next move by the Fed is going to be a rate cut, and it's going to happen in 2027. I wouldn't pay too much attention to this. Why? Because this is before 𝗙𝗂𝗧𝗏 actually came in. So he could be one of the people that should save us. I think those are all the big stories. I think the big story is that, you know, the price of Bitcoin is on that bear flag. It can move down. The probabilities are about 80% that it actually will break down. So right now, you've probably got a better risk return being short than being long. Right now, I wouldn't touch the market. I really wouldn't touch the market. When I want to touch the market, what I've done is I've actually put $10,000 into an account on variational. I want to farm the airdrop, so I'm actually going to transfer it quickly let me quickly transfer all that $10,000 into a portfolio. So $10,000, or let's say max $9,999 deposit. Okay, cool. So that's now in the account, and we can actually, let me just confirm that move. Okay, and that account is now going into that account is now going into my variation wallet. I'm going to trade oil. I'm going to trade Bitcoin. I'm going to trade all of these on leverage here. You can trade it with me. If you do, you get airdrop points on leverage here every Friday. So it's not like you have to wait until the end. You get those actually every Friday. If you use the code OmniRun, you get a 15% points boost. So when you sign up with the code OmniRun. That's your code, and that's you get a points boost. If you're based in the USA, then I don't know if you've ever heard of a VPN. You should probably get a VPN. Another thing is, if you haven't got $1 million yet, how many of you in the chat haven't got $1 million yet? Let me know in the chat. I want to know how many of you. We're in 2026. I want to know if you've got $1 million to your name. Be honest. Make a poll.
Yes or no poll coming up.
All right. So there's a poll coming up to ask you guys if you've got 50. If you do have $1 million to your name. If you don't have $1 million to your name, I made a video which I dropped on Crypto Insider. It is probably the most important video that you have to watch this week. Maybe even, I would say, this month. That's the video over there. If you don't have $1 million to your name, suggest that you watch that video, because it'll terrify you. But I mean, it starts off. I mean, I'll play just the beginning of it, just so you can hear just what the tone of it is. If you don't have $1 million, the next few minutes could terrify you. Luckily though, if you're watching this sometime before July and you make it to the end of the video, you may have one last chance. All right, so get to watch that video. There's a link. There's actually a link to that video below. I mean, I'll just share something else with you guys. Yesterday, I actually bought some shares in Enhanced Games, right? You know what Enhanced Games are? We spoke about them. Enhanced Games is that it's like the Olympics but you're allowed to dope legally. So the reason why I actually bought the shares yesterday is because the market was obviously disappointed by the inaugural games, right? I think they expected more records to be broken. And so what you can see is that the price moved from $1 billion fully diluted valuation all the way down to $250 million. I think the market's overreacting. And I think that the concept is an amazing concept. And I think that Big Pharma is going to get behind this concept. And so for me, I just thought after a massive move like that, it's a good thing to buy. And then, so I bought it yesterday. I wrote my whole thesis on my X account. Mert said something which really resonated. It said, if you buy an asset and sell it when it goes down instead of buying more, why did you buy it? Are you stupid? And he's so right. Anyway, on that note, I will leave you for today. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.